Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is May the 20th, 2026. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day to ya. Hopefully you humped and didn't get humped. Unless that's what you're into, then by all means, have at it. But no, my day, it was good. It was interesting. It was quite dynamic, I dare say. But overall, good day. I woke up way too early. I think I slept about 3 hours so far today. I couldn't go back to sleep. It was very frustrating. Actually, no, make it 4 because I did wind up falling back asleep around 5. So I woke up around 3:30 and then fell back asleep at around 5, and then I just slept through 2 of my alarms. And the third one was like, all right, man, you got to get up. And I'm like, I know I'm going to be late. So yeah, I wind up coming to work about 30 minutes late. Luckily with our PTO system and everything, it's not too bad. It's not really an issue. Occasionally it can wind up as an attendance thing for your review. But I've mentioned this before. I know that it's not going to be that big of a deal, but I am pensive, cautious, if you will, because I fear that under my new management that things are going to get used against me just because I'm on my phone too much. But whatever, that's the whole other fucking thing. Let's not worry about that. We do get to work okay, no problem. And I'm just really tired. That's pretty much my only issue coming into this Wednesday. But we have work, and actually, spoilers, I didn't have to go upstairs all day, which I thoroughly enjoyed. That was a sweet treat, a callback, a flashback, a retro moment, if you will. Today's of yore, 3-4 weeks ago. So yeah, it was definitely a nice day in that regard, work-wise. Also, we had a big food day. Let me go ahead and just try to get that out of the way now. Great, amazing food corner, honestly. It was Asian... was it AAPPI month? I'll just go ahead and just throw the acronym out there. So Asian Appreciation Month. I like to just generalize it. I don't know. Hopefully it's not too problematic. My bad. It's so. But just all kinds of Asian food through varying cultures. And you just got to mash them all on a plate. And then I also love this thing too. At the end of the line, you had your choice of salad or carrots or a celery situation that they could cover in ranch. And I chose lettuce, and I was like, oh, this is for me. I love this. So yeah, I just had my big pile of just food. And it was overall all very yummy. Normally I'd like to go bit by bit individual. We'll just kind of give you a sweeping vibe of the plate. There was a lot of noodles, a lot of rice. We even have some rice noodles in a bit. There was a crab rangoon. It was yummy. There was an egg roll. It was yummy. Spring roll. It was also yummy. I will say that of those 3 things I mentioned, that was the lesser. Not the greatest, but it was fine. A few kinds of chicken, a little bit of curry action, some dumplings, some beef. I will say the beef was a bit maybe the rose of the plate. It wasn't the best, the thorn of the plate, I would say, on the rose of the plate. You know what I'm getting at, okay? I'm not Gordon Ramsay. Okay, if you have sensitive ears, then skip ahead. Okay, scroll forward. But man, the beef had this flavor like I was eating a cow's ass. And it's how do you know that, Isaiah? Look, they didn't give me the ass man license plate moniker for fucking nothing, okay? And I'll leave it there. But overall, it was great. It was yummy. I enjoyed it. Y'all know free is me. I did take a quick survey with the person I was at my table I was eating with. And I think because we were too close to the line, the food line where everyone was giving out the food, they didn't really give me a response, but I was reading body language, and they were like, it was okay. They said it was giving okay. Overall, though, I did like it. It was very yummy. I will say, like, they had, like, I'm trying to think what the standout was. I mean, there was, like, a lot of good. I highlighted the bad, but, like, there was a lot of good. I always love eating rice noodles because it's not something I usually order. So, like, whenever I can get it for the free, that's so yummy to slurp up some rice noodles for sure. I will say the chicken was very yummy, as well as the curries. The dumpling that they gave with some sauce on top was really good. There was some sweet and sour chicken as well. So yeah, the fuck ass lettuce was funny, but like I ate it. I had no qualms with that. And then let me tell you about a D gym moment where I unhinged my jaw and why I'm fucking. I don't. Even, that's not. I'm not gonna be self-deprecating. I'm gonna try to do better today. But the person I was eating next to, once again, this is a person I do know. You know, this is the beauty of being in the company for so long. It's not my first fucking rodeo, right? These people know me, and I see that they're packing it up. Like, packing it up as in they're done. They're putting everything up, you know, on their plate. Like, hey, I'm done. I'm about to chuck this, and I go, hey, wait, you know I got that. They don't even hesitate. They just let me pull it on over to me. And I eat that shit National Geographic style. It was debaucherous. There was ranch on the egg roll. That, like, on the dumplings. Like, I'm picking through shit. I'm throwing it out. Like, I don't want that. Oh, also there was some chicken wings. You know, that's giving Chinese restaurant. But I fuck with it. The buffalo chicken wings were ripping. I did like them. It was just me picking through the plate carcass style. Very I don't know, lowbrow. But hey, I am not above it. I am not above it. No, I don't even need an extra ticket. We aren't even scamming. I'm going vulture mode. So yeah, needless to say, I enjoyed the food, and I was a bloated boy all day. But work was solid. You know, I think it perked me up enough, and that with the energy drink and everything, I felt like a new man. And I mean, hey, I had a food baby to match. So yeah, we marched through the rest of the day, and then as I was taking my coworker home, they let me know that, like, hey, so I had some things come up. It was really, you know, actually unfortunate to find out that they needed to take off a month to go back home to, you know, their country that they, you know, their country of origin. And I don't know why I said it like that, but they had to go back home, and they're gonna be gone for a month to take care of their mom. And I'm like, damn, that's unfortunate, because I even asked too. I'm like, what's the price of, like, just that trip just for you? And they're like, about $3,000. So they're dropping 3 bands, taking off time from work, taking out PTO, all that shit, just to, like, go back home and wait, let me rephrase that. I know that sounds really fucked up. To go back home and take care of their parent. That's rough. That's a bad fucking beat. That's sad. So, you know, hopefully everything works out for them. And you know, I think we'll be back at it come July. But I hate to say it, selfishly though, it does give me some more time for this, you know, June at least. So, you know, there's that. I'm going to get a little bit of I guess the summer, you know, tip of the summer there. I don't know. But yeah, obviously, you know, sending my vibes and vibrations to them. Let's see here. So yeah, I mean, that was overall my day. I would say a W day. I love getting fed, and I love eating food for free. This is generally yummy. You know, it's generally good. I'll take it and say I like it, even if it's pretty bad or like mediocre. So I love a solid 90%. Let's see here. We did go to the gym, as is tradition. I thought I was gonna have to take a nap, but we didn't. And we got through the old Planet Fitness. It was pretty busy, so no Smith machine, no free weights for the day. But I was pretty, you know, I was in my adaptive mode. You know, I was able to, you know, get in where I fit in, and that was nice. Hell, I will say, now that I've let cables into my life, it's nice to like I found out in like one of the areas I don't usually go in that they have a cable like power rack situation. I was like, oh, well, let me get a little extra couple of sets in here. So that was nice. That was good. So yeah, that plus 30 minutes of cardio. I felt like I needed it with all that food I shuffled down my mouth, down my gullet. You know, it was a good gym session. I would give it a dub. So yeah, then I came home, had my stretch. Let's see, had my I didn't have my snack actually. I was just thinking about it, but I had just wrapped up my research, and maybe I'll be a little peckish after the post pod. But yeah, we got a little bit of news, not too much, just enough to say we did it. So yeah, let's go ahead and do our startup, and let's get into some news. Actually, let me start with the water. Let me hydrate. Okay. I want to actually talk about a little TV, technically cinema, because they literally aired the season finale of The Boys in theaters, which is kind of interesting. I guess select theaters, but that's neat. Now, I don't know if you are a enjoyer of The Boys, the series, whether you read the comics or have read the comics or watch the series on Amazon Prime. But for me, The Boys was the first thing that I watched on Amazon. I that was the first time that I had a friend who had let me use their account, but I never used it. But then this series came out, and I watched the first 3 seasons like each and every time. I was like, damn, this shit's crazy. What the fuck? Oh my gosh. Oi. So I was a pretty big fan, and I would still say I am a big fan, but I've definitely I've taken a tangential or just, I don't know, orbital way of digesting the medium now, and people hate this. I get a lot of flack for how I ingest TV culture and movies and stuff. Is essentially, I don't know, the way I guess Zoomers and younger have done it, or like how they do it with like Sopranos. Like, oh, I'm watching The Sopranos, but I watch it like YouTube and TikTok like reels and shit, like, which sounds really crazy and disturbing. And it's like, you're not actually taking in the medium. And it's like, yeah, but I get it. Like, I understand what's happening. I get the gabagool shit. And it's like, I understand why people don't like that, but also like, I get it because it's just become so much easier, and you can just take in the fractals and then understand more or less what it is. And like, I also, too, will say in this regard, in terms of any and all discourses, I'm not actually throwing an opinion that matters. Of course not. I don't care. Like, I'm not Martin Scorsese. I don't give a shit, man. Like, at the end of the day, I just want to see the bits that I want to see. So with The Boys post like season 3, I think I really wasn't watching it as much as I was just taking in the information, what happened. Plus, I already knew because I did the same thing with the comics. Actually, when I take this shit all the way back, let me actually therapize myself a little bit or whatever. I did this with comics a lot in my high school years because like I would take a student hall thing, or not student hall thing. I think it was a teacher's aide. Yes, I was a teacher's aide, and I got to sit in the computer room adjacent to the English teacher, and I would just Wikipedia Marvel characters. Like, I would Wikipedia Marvel characters. I Wikipedia oh, let's say I wanted to learn what Street Fighter like lore or whatever. I would do that, or Tekken, whatever, and I would just scour either Wikipedia or like a fan equivalent of that and like data download it all. And I'd be like, okay, I get it now. I understand. And like a comic book head would scalp me for saying that shit and acting like I knew ball. But I'm like, I don't fucking care, man. It doesn't fucking matter. None of this shit fucking matters. I just want to know the gist of it. And so, anyway, fast forward back to the fucking Boys. I knew this would happen, so I just kind of waited for it. Like, top of the day, I'm just kind of like searching, looking, kind of just waiting for this shit to start pinging. And we got the season finale. We got the whole series finale, and I would say it was pretty good. And once again, like, how can you say that? You didn't watch the whole thing. I know how the shit ends, and I just really wanted to see how they were going to carry it out in terms of the live action. And I do think they missed some notes, but I would say, and obviously I'm not going to spoil it for y'all. I'm not that kind of guy. Y'all know that. But like, it felt fulfilling. Like, I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? And I don't know, maybe I'm not the right person to survey for this shit because I overall enjoyed the ending of Game of Thrones. I know, ew, gross, it was so bad, blah, blah. But like, once again, when you say, hey, this is not going to be dedicated to the actual source material, they're going to take some fucking liberties here, it's going to move too fast, you're going to be disappointed in some ways for sure, but like, look at the overall thing, how was it? I enjoyed it. What can I say? Sue me. Don't sue me. So yeah, with The Boys, I got a couple of the good notes that I wanted to see, and that was satisfying in that regard. So yeah, okay, we'll take it. Anyway, that's enough TV corner. Let's go ahead and get to the startup and the news. I don't know. I that was a little monkey on my back I wanted to talk about. I'm sure I'm gonna find a homie or something to talk about this shit with at work or whatever. But yeah, why not do another pod? Dude, it's gotten so bad. I don't really even talk to my friends about video games anymore. Even though I watch a lot of like gameplay and stuff like that, because like my friends will look at me like I'm fucking talking, like I'm doing Stolen Valor. And I'm like, you guys are fucking nerds. I love you. I love you all. Like, but it's just like, don't you want to talk about your thing? It's just being elitist about a thing, like a thing you enjoy is just to a certain extent becomes weird to me. But I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out of turn. All right, let's get into our stories. From the Associated Press. 3 dead in New Mexico and first responders decontaminated after exposure to unknown substance. 3 people are dead, and more than a dozen first responders had to be quarantined and assessed Wednesday for possible exposure to an unidentified substance after being called to a suspected drug overdose at rural New Mexico home, authorities said. New Mexico State Police said 3 of the 4 people who were found unresponsive inside the home east of Albuquerque died. The 4th is being treated at a hospital in Albuquerque. During the response, authorities said first responders were exposed to the substance and began experiencing symptoms, including nausea and dizziness. Excuse me. Officials at the University of New Mexico Hospital confirmed that 23 patients who were exposed to an unknown substance were assessed and decontaminated after being transported to the hospital. Most of those were first responders who were showing no symptoms and were later discharged. Medical teams continued to monitor 3 symptomatic patients Wednesday evening, according to the hospital. 2 first responders were listed in serious condition, said Officer Wilson Silver. That's a solid name, I'll say that. With New Mexico State Police. Albuquerque Fire Rescue hazmat teams were assisting at the scene in Mountain Air, a rural community east of Albuquerque, in efforts to identify the substance involved. Man, I really want to know what the fucking substance was, whatever. I imagine we will come back to cover that in an update in the future. We'll see. Obviously, I hope, the people who are in serious condition, recover and they rally. That is what we would love to see. Man, I don't even really want to speculate. I don't think that's worth it. You can use your imagination. But, I definitely will come back when I get something concrete. That's for sure. But let's go ahead and move on to our next story. Okay, there we go. Let's move on. Actually, it's a little warmer. Now that I've started yapping, gotta take the pump cover off. All right. From ABC News. Raul Castro charged with murder for Cuba's shoot down of humanitarian planes. The Justice Department on Wednesday charged former Cuban President Raul Castro with murder over his alleged role in shooting down 2 planes that were carrying humanitarian aid in 1996, according to a newly unsealed court docket. The shoot down resulted in the deaths of 4 U.S. nationals. The indictment charges Castro with 7 counts, including conspiracy to kill U.S. nationals, destruction of aircraft, and murder for each of the 4 passengers aboard the planes being flown by Brothers to the Rescue, a group that conducted rescue missions for Cuban exiles who sought to flee the country. Now, I think I'm going to come back to this Brothers to the Rescue thing because they just highlight a bit of it, and I get it. But, in my opinion, that's a bit spin because you're only talking about the thing that they did that's really nice and really fucking noble. And you could argue, too, the other thing they did, which I guess I can just get to, which was throwing out a bunch of, pro-democracy leaflets and things of that nature and, all that. It's like, hey, that's also noble. But if you're another country, you do that kind of shit. Think of it. If you do this shit in America, would that work? No, they're going to probably try to shoot your ass fucking down too. Just for that alone, by the way. And I'm talking back then. I'm talking now. So that being said, I think it's worth mentioning that. But I get that at the end of the day, ABC News is not trying to cover it from that angle. And that's fine. Fucking whatever. At the same time, I think I was listening to Start Here where they did kind of expand a little bit on that, but even then the spin was still like, well, they were just doing this humanitarian work and then they were shot down. And it's like, yeah, but they were told not to do that. And it's like, just because you're flying in a commercial plane or whatever the fuck and saying, hey, we're doing this shit for humanitarian reasons, if you're told not to do it and you continue to do that, well, I mean, shit, we're blowing up speedboats right now. Hashtag fucking boat watch. So it is crazy to, talk about the blood on this man's hands. And we're not talking about this administration or the administrations of prior. But okay, let's continue. It marks a major escalation in the United States' ongoing pressure campaign to achieve regime change of the island nation's communist-led government, though it's not immediately clear whether the 94-year-old Castro will ultimately see the inside of a U.S. courtroom. I feel like this is more symbolic than anything. I think it's also so dual-sided because we had like Rubio come out, what was it, today or yesterday or whatever, essentially saying we are seeking to strike a new relationship with Cuba. And it's like, what are you talking about here? You have your hands around this country's neck, essentially, fiscally. You always have. You've ratcheted up the pressure with this whole fuel, oil embargo or what have you. And essentially, you have Rubio speaking in Spanish saying, hey, this is your fault. Cuba, this is your fault because of, poor mismanagement of your communist leadership. This is all on you. It has nothing to do with us, but we are seeking to forge a new relationship with you. That is what we want. This is actually our olive branch. As you are sniffing around, scratching at the fucking paint to try to fucking take this shit down so that Trump can get his fucking big win in Cuba. Too bad he's still got a fucking war in Iran to handle, but they are chomping at the bit to do this stuff, to do this shit in Cuba, to increase the pain, to ratchet it fucking up. And this is a tale as old as time. I would love to just blame this all on Trump, but at the end of the day, this comes back to companies being like, damn, we can't operate in a communist society. Not the way that we want to. At least we can. We actually can, but we don't actually want to do it that way. So we're going to fucking go back to our government and we're going to tell them to fix that shit. One way or another, by hook or by fucking crook. You either spread that fucking democracy, baby, or you put in some fucking radical right-wing motherfucker. We don't care. Replace him with a dictator. We don't give a shit. Fix it. And that's what fucking happens. So, my heart stays going out to fucking Cuba in this situation, I still want to believe that this shit is not going to take them out in any kind of way, but I know that this shit is worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. It just doesn't get better. And this administration is down to just once again, grind these people into dust and be like, yeah, you're welcome for the democracy. It's waiting for you on the other side. I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, once again, there were 3 people who died here. I get that. I don't want to try to make small potatoes light of that. That's not what I'm here trying to fucking do. But yeah, I just think role reversal, we would do this shit and not think twice. And I don't mean that just in the Trump, ooh, boo, boo, he, boo, in that sense. I mean, period. That is just what America does. It's just how we operate. It becomes this us versus them thing, and we make it this ideological fucking thing because at the end of the day, this is about $1. It is about making some fucking money, and that's it, man. It's not about the fucking people. It's not about forging a new fucking relationship. It's not actually about making real change that actually matters to the fucking people at all. It's never that. Not even for us. Not even people in the America. So, this is a frustrating thing to fucking talk about. Because I know that there are people, who could hear this, who are, dissidents for Cuba and be like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? He doesn't know shit from his fucking asshole. And you could do this for any and all of the fucking shit that I talk about. I fucking know. I get it. But every time I come to look at this shit, anytime I come and I learn more, what have you, it only reinforces my fucking feelings on this shit. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, so... yeah, I'm keep talking this shit until I'm blue in the face, until they fucking take me off the fucking goddamn Spotify or YouTube, what have you, God damn it. But yeah, let's move on to our last story. I feel like I've covered that enough. Whew. Let's go ahead and take our last break, and then Yeah, this is a weird story. I don't even know how to like hint at it or whatever. We're just gonna, I guess, just dig in. This is an odd one. At least odd to my dumb ass. I don't know. I said I wasn't gonna be self-deprecating, but I just meant physically, for the record. Ooh, ooh la la. Okay, from the Associated Press. Ex-prosecutor charged with sending to herself copy of Smith report on Trump classified files probe. A former federal prosecutor in Florida sent to her personal email account a special counsel report from the investigation into President Donald Trump's hoarding of classified documents, despite a judge's order that it was to remain sealed, according to an indictment made public on Wednesday. Dude, for some reason, just like running back that event, like I realized that shit just like faded away like dust in the wind. Like once Donald Trump became president, like I just knew that shit was just so done. You know what I mean? Like, and I guess just I know we're kind of rehashing a rehash, but like just with him making that whole slush fund, that 1.8 billion dollar bullshit, like it's just a reminder that this man has been so fucking bulletproof. Sans like the rape, like the rape case shit that he was found guilty on. Like he's been so bulletproof. Like everything's just kind of slid off him, bounced off him, whatever. Bullets fucking grazed the guy's ear. Like it just seems like just once again like a forlorn thing. Like, yeah, remember when they tried that guy? They actually tried to prosecute him over shit that he did that was actually fucked up and illegal. Like what was he doing with those goddamn documents in his fucking bathroom? Whatever. He's our president. Carmen Lineberger, who worked in the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida and managed its Fort Pierce branch, faces charges including theft of government property and concealment of government records. She pleaded not guilty during a court appearance in West Palm Beach. Her attorney did not immediately return messages seeking comment. Prosecutors allege that while serving as a Justice Department prosecutor last December, Lineberger ooh, I'm so burpy. Lineberger sent a copy of the report that special counsel Jack Smith and his team had prepared, recapping their investigation into Trump's retention of top secret documents at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach, to her personal email account. At the time she did so, the indictment says, a judicial order barred Justice Department employees from sharing, transmitting, or distributing copies of the report. The indictment alleges that Lineberger sought to conceal her actions by altering the original file name of the report to buntcakerecipe.pdf. Also, there's underscores for the spaces, which actually, for some reason, this makes me like fuck with the realness. Like, there's something about that that's like, if I was in her situation and was trying to do this, I think I would be like, I'm so clever. This is a thing I would send to myself. Got them. They'll never click it. They'll never open it. Before saving the retitled file on her government computer and emailing it to her personal email account with the subject line of bunt underscore cake recipe, comma PDF. Good one. You got him. Several months earlier, according to the indictment, Lineberger created on her government computer a document consisting of portions of internal justice department messages, along with portions of an internal memorandum with header and footer markings that indicated it was for official use only. She sent the material to her personal email address via attached file titled chocolate underscore cake recipe.pdf. And like my fat ass would be like, let's click that shit. Let's fucking open it up. And I'm like, oh, What is this? The indictment does not explain why Lineberger may have wanted to send the report, which prosecutors say she has, or say she had access in her personal capacity as a prosecutor to her own email account. So yeah, this is the shit that is boggling my mind. That's got me hitting the think emoji, and I'm wondering why. Like, and I don't know. Like, I'm guessing for some kind of financial gain, you're going to take this information and sell it or leak it to some outlet, right? And I know maybe this is like plebeian of me or whatever, but like I wanted to know maybe then like, well, what's the political affiliation? Because maybe that might help me understand or get some kind of like headspace into why she did this. And I couldn't find anything, at least as of right now. So like I don't know. Like, so I really don't have any tell or reason. My speculation hat has been donned. So yeah, we will hopefully come back and figure that out as into what was her motivation for doing this shit. Because obviously there was a risk. I guess another thing I was thinking too, and I don't know if this lines up, but I do believe that, like, you know, prediction markets were a fucking thing, right? So maybe it was that, like, back to kind of the financial game, but maybe you're not selling it to a source, maybe, or you are selling it to a source and they're going to use that to bet. Like, I don't know, man. It's a crazy fucking world. Everything is insider trading at this point. So it's complicated. So that's really what drew me to the story. Plus, once again, just the memory lane of like, who is Jack Smith and what was he trying to do? He's like, man, he was just trying to pin the tail on that badass, man, and he couldn't get him, and he fucking couldn't. He just couldn't close it in time. I feel like, you know, that's what it was. Plus, the whole fucking thing with Eileen Cannon, but that's a whole other fucking thing, man. We gotta do a whole prequel talking about that bullshit. So let's not. We'll call it an episode for today. I feel like I've yapped. I feel like I've moaned enough. So yeah. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, become a newsie today. Patreon.com/AZANews. For the price, can you get? I'm sure you can get a coffee for cheaper than $5. I'm sure you can. But you know, they say it. I'll say it too. For the price of a coffee. You know, for an average coffee in America, how about that? We'll phrase it that way. You can support me, and that's a useful thing to me, because it's, you know, I'll spare you the fucking bullshit. It's a tip jar, you know, but you know that does help out the pod, because it does keep me in the fucking game in a way. So think about it that way. You're enriching the podcast experience one way or another. The money's going to a good place, I promise. No, you do get some access to old shit. I mean, I say it's old shit because I haven't really put anything new in the bonus files lately, in the bonus episode stuff. But you do get access to that. You get the roll call status. I shout you out at the top of the month. So that's coming up. So there's that. But yeah, you know, consider it. But if not, free ways to hit me up, azanews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Spotify. Follow me on Apple Podcasts. Wherever you like to listen, I'll be there. Just type my name and I'll be there. First time I hit that. Okay, whatever. Let's see. Like I said, leave a like, leave a cool comment. Sharing is always caring. You know, but you don't have to do any of that. I mean, shit. Motherfuckers is talking like it's dead internet, and like I used to boo that shit, I used to tomato that shit, but I mean, low key, what's the fucking point? I get on that shit and it just is like, this is kind of boring. Well, where's the food at? Where's the yummy food at? And then like some nostalgia reel, real. But I don't know, whatever. You can find me there. I'm posting. I'm posting pictures. I'm posting links. They're all to this. I don't know. But let's see. 5 stars on Spotify, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts are always appreciated. But if you don't do any of that shit, if you just found me randomly, the algorithm just burped me into your earlobe sound space. Hi. You know, thanks. Thank you for making it this far. I've had people go, what the fuck was that intro? I hate you. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, so the fact that you just were a newbie potentially and you made it all the way here, you've won. You did it. Thank you. Hopefully you want to do it again soon. I'd like that, But yeah, hopefully I see you. Hopefully I see you again soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye bye. Mwah.